What's up, YouTubers? So before we get started with this video, on First Take, they're going to be talking about which quarterback is going to be under the most amount of pressure this year, Cam Newton or Tom Brady. So let's see what they have to say about that.
Who's under more pressure? Is it Tom Brady or is it Cam Newton?
It's a trick question. Of course it's Tom Brady. All the things that Tom Brady has to go through, Cam Newton has to do the same thing. And he's in a new situation. Only the difference is Cam Newton's coming off injury. Only another difference is he's not joining a team with offensive weapons everywhere you look. Only another difference is, in fact, even if Tom Brady had stayed, there'd have been people this year who said, Buffalo almost got him. They're on the way up. It's not the case for Tom Brady. Yes, the Saints are a powerhouse, absolutely. But Brady is expected to make the playoffs come hell or high water. Do you see all the offensive weapons he has? He has an excellent coach. They have an underrated defense. And everywhere you look, there's a weapon. Oh, yeah, and his security blanket came out of retirement to join him down there.
His security blanket? Come on now.
There's much more pressure on Tom Brady this year than there is Cam Newton for all those reasons. In addition, the most pressure on anyone in New England is on Bill Belichick, because one of the, at this point, age-old stories, real questions, sports debates, was it more Brady or more Belichick? And largely this year, that's what people will be looking to see. Fair or unfair? Brady left the cupboard bare for Belichick. Fair or unfair? Brady's old now and he has to learn a new system. They both have excuses, reasons why they might do well, might not do well. But the story is comparing Brady and Belichick right now. Brady's under more pressure.
So I think I'm going to have to go with Cam Newton being under the most amount of pressure, because at the end of the day, for Tom Brady, if things don't work out for him in Tampa Bay, he still went to 9 Super Bowls and won 6 of those Super Bowls. So, I mean, he doesn't have that much to prove. Obviously, he wants to prove that he can win without Bill Belichick and he can do it with another team and all that. But, if things don't work out, then his legacy is still set, you just chalk it up to when he was a little bit older, he's 43 years old. Things just aren't working out. But if you look at Cam Newton, if things don't work out for Cam Newton in New England, then if he gets cut, it'll be very hard to get another job someplace. Eventually, I think he will, but the expectations will be way lower, and he might be fighting for only a backup position, which I really hate to hear because, I think Cam Newton still has it. Obviously, he's not what he was during the Super Bowl run, but he still has it and he can still ball out. So, but I have to say Cam Newton's probably under the most amount of pressure. So let's continue.
I disagree with you. I definitely get where you're coming from about Brady. I can't argue with those things. But what I could tell you is that, Brady is approaching the swan song of his career. He's got an elite squad, which I've talked about with Evans and Godwin and Gronk and Brait and O.J. Howard, and now you got Shady McCoy added to the backfield. I get all of that, so the multitude of weapons that he has available to him is a reason to apply that pressure. I totally agree. But we got some serious questions about whether or not Cam Newton is going to have a career if he does not succeed in New England. Now, I personally believe he was screwed over by the Carolina Panthers. I don't think enough has been made about that story, considering his greatness for that organization. The 9 years that he served there, for them to treat him the way that they did, letting him go as late as they did. That was my issue with the Carolina Panthers. And then to have all-time great players polled, and you conduct this poll as a team, and Cam Newton isn't even included in the question, is ultimately ridiculous. We get all
Yeah, all that's uncalled for.
that. But in the end, there's some serious question marks about him and what he has left in him, because 5 of the last 6 years, he hasn't even completed 50% of his passes. 60%, I apologize. He hasn't completed 60% of his passes. Now, the last full season he had, where he played about 14 games, he completed 67.9% of his passes with North Turner as his offensive coordinator. But we still look at Cam Newton. We question his ability to throw the football accurately. And now, despite the freak athlete that he is, we're questioning his ability to continue to run and to be the athlete that he is, because of the amount of punishment his body has absorbed over the years.
Well, so obviously he's going to have to stop running. So obviously Bill Belichick will incorporate something in the system to where he's not running as much. Obviously he's a little bit older. Those hits have piled up, and you want to, it's about self-preservation. So obviously Bill Belichick will know how to take care of that.
we all know that on his worst day, he's more mobile than Tom Brady ever was. And as a result, if you're Josh McDaniel and you're Bill Belichick, you might be able to do some things with that, and the offense could be more versatile because of it. With Sony Michel and James White out of the backfield, Lacoste obviously elected not to play, so you got Julian Edelman, Mohamed Sanu, and N'Keal Harry. They are not Edwin, Evans and Godwin. We get all of that. But the flip side to it is that there are no real questions about Tom Brady other than age and attrition. They may be significant, but that's all you're really questioning right now. With Cam Newton at age 31, we're questioning if he doesn't survive here in New England or prosper, who's going to even want him? I think more pressure is on him.
Yeah, so I definitely think more pressure's on Cam Newton. Like I said, for Tom Brady, he already won the Super Bowls. His legacy is set, but you can't necessarily say that for Cam Newton. Especially he hasn't won a Super Bowl. He went to the Super Bowl, but he hasn't won it. So he still has a lot of things to prove, just as far as being one of the best quarterbacks ever, let alone still being able to just play today and being a quality quarterback today. I think he still has it. I think he's still good, but I think he needs to have that chance to where he gets a chance from the coaches. He gets a chance from being just from the standpoint of being healthy. I think he still has it, but he has a lot more to prove than Tom Brady. And I think Tom Brady is going to be okay. I mean, he's got some decent weapons, decent defense. So I think he'll be okay. But I think what might save Cam Newton if things go bad is there's a way out for him built in to that system. Because how many guys do they have that opt out? 9 or 10 guys that are opted out to not play this year because of the coronavirus. And then he has the same amount of weapons that Tom Brady had last year, which is nothing. So between having no weapons, you key players opting out not to play because of the coronavirus, that's kind of a setup for a bad season anyways. So I think Cam Newton, he has a way out. So I think they might take him to another year, sign him to another year, because obviously there's so many weird things going on this year that you're not going to get a real good solid look at Cam Newton. So, but there is a way out for him. But still, I still think the most amount of pressure is on Cam Newton. So let's continue.
Dan?
This isn't even close. It's Tom Brady. 5 reasons why. First of all, Tom Brady chose to leave New England, where Cam Newton was forced out of Carolina. So just that simple aspect of Tom Brady betting on himself puts more pressure on him. Second of all, you guys have all mentioned the people around the respective quarterbacks. Not only does Tom Brady walk into a situation where he's got a top 6 receiver in Mike Evans, 2 top probably 10 or 11 guys, if you add Godwin, Hall of Famer Gronk, but Cam's got no one. Cam is a very kind of deprived skill level or skill players around him. And then they have 7 or 8 opt-outs, a ton of them on the defensive end. There's a huge burden that's going to be placed on Cam Newton, where Tom Brady, because here's the thing, guys, football at the end of the day, it's a team game, but it becomes my guys are better than your guys. And Tom Brady just has a ton better guys. So, that there is that expectation. 3 is going to be the expectations. Tampa Bay is expected to be deep into the NFC playoffs, potentially NFC champions, and making a Super Bowl run. That's from the people really kind of take a deep dive into the football world. A lot of people don't have high expectations of New England this year. They didn't before Cam went there, and they won't now that there's been a ton of opt-outs. But I think 2 of the main points are the last time we saw both of these players healthy, right? 2018, halfway through the season, when Cam Newton was healthy before the hit by TJ Watt, he's an MVP candidate. He's having one of his best seasons. He's accounting for 19 touchdowns and 5 picks, right? The last year when we saw Tom Brady healthy, a lot of people said he was having a down year. A lot of people, maybe somebody on the...
Wait a minute, how could I say he was having a down year? So they went, 12-4? I think at one point they had one of the longest winning streaks last year. I don't understand how he had a down year. Of course, maybe compared to what he normally does, which is going to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl. But compared to any other quarterbacks, any regular quarterbacks, he did pretty good. The coaching staff would be happy to have a year where they went 12-4 and they still made the playoffs, although it was a wild card. But they would still be happy with 12-4. So I don't understand how Tom Brady had a down year. So let's continue.
This panel right now have suggested that he's not a good player anymore. So the last time we saw both of these guys healthy, one was performing at an MVP level, and one was performing at a level that people were starting to doubt if he could still play. So the pressure is on the guy.